What is up, Defects? Welcome to our monthly new comic book day segment where we bring you real sales data from a real comic shop with the most pre-ordered comic books for the month of January 2024. Can you believe it, Jay?
Oh
Already into
boy,
2024, dude.
this time is flying by.
Yep. So, guys, in case you missed the pre-order cutoff date, you could be the first in line in New Comic Book Day to grab the hot books of the month. So, without further ado, let's get into that list. Guys, before we get into the list, let me just remind you that all this data and insight that you guys are going to see and hear is provided by the guys over at Comic Nation. So make sure you're giving them a shout out and a follow if you like this information. All their links and all that good stuff is going to be in the description down below. And guys, stay tuned. We have a giveaway as we do every month, sponsored by Comic Nation. All you got to do to enter is be a subscriber of this channel and leave a comment on this video. We're going to be picking the winner from last month's video later on in this video. So guys, make sure, a lot of people haven't claimed prizes yet. So make sure if you do enter, come back the following month and watch. All right. So you may want
Absolutely,
to,
leaving money on the table, guys.
yeah, exactly.
Free money.
Guys, so we're starting off the list this week with the cover by, and this thing looks dope already. So here we go from Comic Nation. So Transformers #4, cover B, the JonBoy Meyers wraparound variant. Image/Skybound Comics releases January 10th, 2024. Here's what they have to say. If you were a kid in the 80s and no doubt recognize this iconic Optimus Prime pose from Transformers the movie, JonBoy Meyers covers always sell pretty well, and when you combine that with a hot series and a fan favorite character in an iconic pose, this has the recipe for a strong seller. Skybound continues to do a great job of Transformers publishing, understanding what fans want and offering up good value. Print quality is typically strong, and a wraparound cover by a great artist for $3.99 is tough to resist. We suspect there will be some news regarding Megatron in the Energon universe in this or the next few issues. He has yet to be introduced. The introduction of Megatron should increase interest in this title further, and it is a clear example of how well Skybound is approaching this property, in our opinion. So, guys, with everything, and you're going to see this later on the list, not that that's much of a surprise, but everything they got going on with Void Rivals, right? Image is just cashing. I don't want to say they're cashing in. They are maximizing the value
Yep.
in the series, and the characters revolving around that, because why not? People are into it. People want more of it. Um, can you know? Tying everything together seems like a smart play here, and as usual, JonBoy kills it. I would expect this cover to kind of be an inspiration for future remarks. We know he's one of the best in the business in remarks, so if you're into that, I'm sure you're going to see this pose on some of his colored remarks. Jay, what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. John Boy kills it. And listen, we're both '80s kids. Iconic cover. Transformers, Void Rivals. They did it in 2023, right? Let's see if they continue that in 2024.
Exactly.
All right, guys, coming in as the honorable mention, Star Wars number 42, the main cover from Marvel Comics, releases January 10th, 2024. Star Wars number 35 featured a surprise first appearance of a new Sith character. This Sith was unnamed in the issue, and we have yet to see the named anywhere yet. Although this character is mysterious, we do know they will be appearing in this issue, which marks their first cover appearance. Cover appearances seem to hold quite a bit of weight with Star Wars fans, so sales for this one did not shock us. We know this character is a Sith that was the original owner of the Kyber saber that was used to power Luke's lightsaber in Return of the Jedi. Star Wars fans are pretty starved for Sith action, so we were a bit surprised this one and the first appearance have not seen more attention. This may be a good thing for aftermarket value, though. We are interested to learn more about this character, including their name, where they fit into the Star Wars mythos. So, guys, a great listen. If you're a Star Wars fan and you've been collecting all these books, we already had the first appearance in number 35. Now we get the first cover appearance, and we're getting hopefully a background story. So, again, Star Wars continued to hot in 23, continuing that hotness in 2024.
Yeah, people love the Sith characters, and actually, this is a pretty dope cover too. So it makes a lot of sense. All right, guys, before we get into the actual list, let's talk about some discount codes. All right, we got you guys. So, the sponsor and curator of the data for this show are the guys over at Comic Nation, the world's finest comic shop. So, guys, Defects 10, as you guys know, is going to get you 10% off your first order. If you've ordered from them before using that, just use the code Defects. That's going to get you 5% off of all your future orders. You're already getting 15% off of FOC. So when you pre-order, you're getting 15% off. So those can be combined. And then you're also getting 5% cash back on Comic Nation. So all that could add up to 25 to 30% off, depending if you're a first-time buyer or not. So guys, head over to comicnation.us or check them out on Instagram and start your pull list today. Order links down in the description, guys. Give them a follow. Always know what's up. All right, let's get into the actual top 5 list, and we're going to start out with no surprise here. Void Rivals #1, a 6 printing by the Dylan Burnett variant. Image Skybound Comics releases January 24th, 2024. Void Rival later printings and Skybound Energon Universe's later printings in general continue to do very well. We have heard a lot of people saying these later printings are a cash grab, but we couldn't disagree more. Each of these later printings appears to have a very thin overprint. This means that when they are ordered by retailers at FOC, not many extra copies are printed. As a result, each of these sells out immediately and in many cases before New Comic Book Day release. Marvel, on the other hand, appears to be printing massive amounts of second prints, which stay in stock for ages at distribution, which is why we never see third printings from them anymore. Later printings like these are not only a great way to create what may be a valuable collectible in the future, but also continue to grow the readership base. So a lot to unpack here. Number one, Void Rivals. I got into it this week. I like the read. It's dope. I kept saying I was going to get into it. I finally picked it up. Very, very good. You got the cover. The cover itself has, you have Solia and Derek. Those are the main characters. A dark cover. Maybe tough to get a 9.8, so maybe this is a good one to grab. We talked about it last month. We said, which printings do you have to have? Apparently, you might have to have all of them, right? Because if they're really not overprinting these and they're really selling out, I think each one of these could have some value. And then once the dust settles, you're going to know which one's kind of the most valuable. But I don't think we're going to know anytime soon. So I think the thing is here, if you can get it for cover and you're a fan, you probably got to grab it.
Yeah, like Matt said, you're going to want that issue 1 with the lowest print run on it available. This is going to be like Matt said, dark cover. This is going to be a tough 9.8. So shop around shop around, get that cleanest copy, guys, because we don't know when this print count is going to stop, and we don't know what the lowest print count is going to be. So if you're a Void Rivals fan, you got to keep picking up these second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and who knows where it goes from there printings.
Absolutely. And you know what? And sometimes the hardest cover to get in 9.8 ends up being the most valuable. So with a dark cover like this, it could be, and we're getting late. We're getting 6 printing. That could be I don't know if it's going to be end, but it's got to end at some point, right? So
we say that every month.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We say that every month. Defects coming in at number 4, Ghost Machine, #1, cover A from Image Comics, releasing January 24th, 2024. This one-shot is the first official under the Ghost Machine Image Comics imprint and is slated to feature the new introduction of new properties. Ghost Machine was originally known as Mad Ghost, and the first title introduced under this banner was Geiger by Jeff Johns and Gary Frank, which was an absolute epic run. There have been a couple more Ghost Machine properties introduced before this one-shot, including Junkyard Joe and Redcoat. The creators who have signed this imprint, founded by Jeff Johns, will exclusively be working on Ghost Machine titles. This includes some heavy hitters like Peter J. Tomasi, Brad Metzler, Ivan Reese, Brian Hitch, and Jason Fabak. This means Ghost Machine is the only place where you'll be able to find their work for the foreseeable future. That's huge. No doubt this is an ambitious endeavor, and the talent is there. Guys, they have a ton of talent slated on this book. As for this book, we featured it because we had a ton of sales, but there were also a ton of variants. Cover A barely outsold the others that included various new properties of the cover from a wide variety of artists. It is worth noting that the 2 Fabok covers did well, as expected. Defects. How this book and its variants do on the secondary market will depend on how well the individual properties perform and if Ghost Machine will be around for the long haul. It is worth noting that Geiger is in development as we speak, and Jeff Johns has a lot of experience and connections in Hollywood. We think this is a good sign for those hedging their bets with these new properties. I totally agree, guys. Geiger, we both read, was an excellent read, a nice little story arc, and Jeff Johns and his team he assembled on here exclusively working on this title can mean big things. Not only that, just like the boy said, he has ties to Hollywood and shows are already getting picked up. So this is something you might want to hedge your bets on, is right.
Yeah, this to me seems like it's either going to be a huge bust or a huge hit, and I'm
Yep.
going to lean towards a huge hit. There's some heavy hitters in there. If they can figure out how to work well together, because sometimes when you put too many chefs in the kitchen, what happens? But this one, I got a good feeling about this. This is one that you may want to grab and stash, like for real. Like this could be, I mean, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to compare it to anything, but like we've seen some of these independents, Jay, go crazy on the
Yeah.
secondary market. So even if you're not picking it up to read, which you probably should because these titles were good, just stash. I would grab and stash a few of these just in case for down the road.
Yeah, and I would grab and pick this up just to read because
Yeah.
their stories have been awesome. Johns always does an amazing job. And if you get me personally, I'm not telling anybody else to buy, but those Fabok covers, that's what I'm grabbing.
Yep. All right, coming in at number 3, Avengers Twilight. Number 1, the main cover from Marvel Comics, releasing this January 17, 2024. This is a miniseries that Chip Zdarsky has been wanting to work on for years and finally got the green light to create. We have read the first issue, the guys over at Comic Nation have read the first issue and would describe it as somewhat of a kingdom come for Marvel. I thought that was interesting. It is set in the future, and Steve Rogers is older and no longer has a serum that made him Captain America. The age of the superheroes is over, and many of our favorites have died. One thing that remains is Stark Industries, which is now under the control of James Stark, the son of Tony Stark, who makes his first appearance in this issue. Some have said as a new Iron Man in this. Some will said that he was going to be the new Iron Man in this issue, but we confirm he does not. Although it is his first full appearance. So guys, remember that when you're deciding to buy this or not. In our opinion, this is a phenomenal read and it left us eager to read the second issue. Will James Stark be around to stay? Is this a one-off possible future and nothing more? Is this even 616 canon? We don't know for sure, but we would not be surprised if James Stark is well received. We see more of him down the road in some capacity. James Stark does make his first cover appearance on the Masafara variant, but it has a Virgin 1 in 100 version as well, which is why we think people are opting for the main cover instead. But both did really well as far as orders. Although we expected this to sell better, we think that the fact that it is not canon hurt its value in terms of spec. Also, the high cover price may have deterred people from ordering extras. We are curious to see where this series will end up when the dust settles. So, guys, there's a lot to unpack there. I mean, first off, this sounds really good. As far as a read, this sounds really good. So let's leave it there. If we're talking about just reading comics, this is probably a grab for me. It sounds like a cool story. I liked Kingdom Come, so I mean, if these guys are telling me that's Marvel's version, like somewhat of, I'll take a chance on it. As far as spec play and first appearances, I'm not sure how much I'd buy into a James Stark here. He's not a new Iron Man here, and I don't know if people are going to be really interested in a new Iron Man, James Stark, and it could not, and we don't know if it's canon for sure. So
Hmm.
I wouldn't go too crazy on this, but I would just pick it up as a read. I don't know about you, Jay, but what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, is it a good book to spec on? Yeah, we seen what happened with Spider Boy. There was a lot of
Sure.
back and forth with Spider Boy, and we seen what that did. James Stark. I mean, they're gonna have to give some type of background story to where this kid came from. He just pops up out of the blue. It is a first appearance. We always talk about a first appearance of the person and then of the actual
Right.
superhero or character. So, is it worth the buy? In my opinion, might as well just grab it, right? Even if you're just grabbing a cover A. I mean, if you want to roll the dice and get that 1 in 100 first appearance first cover, that may be something you want to look into if you're a big Iron Man fan. But as for me, maybe just a cover A grab.
Yeah.
All right, boys and girls, coming in at number 2, Vengeance of Moon Knight. Number 1, the main cover from Marvel Comics releases January 3rd, this week. Mark Spector died in Moon Knight 30, and although the issue gave us the first cover appearance of the new Moon Knight, they did not appear in the issue. This issue, we can confirm, does feature the first appearance of the new Moon Knight in the story, but it is brief. More importantly, we still do not know who will be the new Moon Knight beyond being a villain. Is it someone new? Can it be Zodiac? Can it be Bushman? Let the guessing begin, because after reading this issue, we feel that the mystery may continue for a while. Whew. We know that some people roll their eyes at the amount of times titles are restarted and rebooted, but this one will feature writer Jed McKay and artist Alessandro Capuccio, the same creators from the previous series. This Moon Knight seems a lot more brutal than the first. We like the character design. It will be interesting to see how the story unfolds and how Moon Knight fans will feel about this new version. Maddie, we got a new Punisher, right?
Yep. Yep.
Joe Garrison. We got a new Moon Knight. It looks like we're getting a new Iron Man. What's going on here, man? What's Marvel doing? The total reboot?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe we see it we see it happen on the big screen. We see it happen in the print. I don't know, man.
I tell you
they're scratching their heads with all the independents crushing them. You know, they got to do something.
I mean, listen, we were all skeptical about the new Punisher, Joe Garrison. I liked the first two issues that I read.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good, but it was basically Frank Castle as under a new name. Is this what it's going to be like for Moon Knight? If you're a Moon Knight fan, are you grabbing this? If you're not a Moon Knight fan and just buy on investment, are you grabbing this? They're saying it is the first full appearance, but it is brief. Will this be categorized as a cameo? We don't know. Only one way to find out, guys, right, is pick up the book, give it a read. They're saying it's way more violent. That's what I'm into, violent comic books. But I don't know what all this flip-flopping around, man. It seems like all these old characters we grew up with have counterparts now. So we'll see.
Well, there's one thing that we could probably, and I think that everybody can agree on, that is a sick Finch cover.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Listen, if you want to start off a Moon Knight series, that's the guy you're starting it with, right?
For real.
You're starting it with Stephen Platt or David Finch, and there you have it.
Giveaway time, boys and girls. So we're going to be giving away a $30 gift card to Comic Nation's website. That's for the video that we did in December for December's Hot Books. So we're going to pick that winner right now. And remember, to be entered in January, which is going to be another $30 gift card to comicnation.us, all you got to do is be a subscriber of this channel, like the video, and comment down below. Guys, make sure you come back and see if you've won. A lot of people leave comments, then they miss it. You know, they miss the next month, and then they follow up the following month. So, like Jay said earlier, fucking leaving money on the table. So
leaving money, and guys, give them a follow, guys. Give those guys a follow, because their link is in the description. They do a ton of great work for the community. It's where I've been buying my books lately. Everything comes shipped secure, in great condition. Their customer service is beyond great. They'll get back to you that day. So make sure you're giving them a follow, guys.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right, so I got the YouTube video loaded up. I thought I did. Now I do. And let's get the comments. Hopefully we could do math here. 16. Let's get some YouTube comments. 44 unique comments. Let's see who it is.
Let's go.
There he is.
There he is. Big Daddy.
Big Daddy Ross. You guys have to read Beneath the Trees. We talked about that last month. That's right.
Yeah.
So a nice little recommendation from an awesome follower that's been with us from pretty much the beginning, I want to say, and a great dude. We personally know him as well. So shout out John, Big Daddy Ross. All right. So guys, remember to be entered in this month. Comment down below, like the video, be a subscriber of the channel. Guys, coming in at number 1, surprise, surprise, a Spider-Man cover. Ultimate Spider-Man number 1, the Stegman variant from Marvel Comics, releasing January 10th, 2024. Spidey fans have been wanting to see Peter Parker and Mary Jane start a family and move on to the next chapter in their life for ages. This series is set in the Ultimate Universe and is going to deliver that reality, so it's no surprise that overall sales for this issue were off the chart. There were a ton of variants, but this one features a Parker family portrait by Ryan Stegman, and it outsold all others, including the main cover. This marks the first cover appearance of Richard and May Parker, Spidey's daughter and son, in this universe. Although with the massive amount of covers, and will no doubt be a huge print run, this likely won't be selling for above cover for a while, if ever, although that didn't seem to stop the pre-orders. People are excited about this new series by Jonathan Hickman and Marco Cicchetto, and if they nail this, which we don't see why they wouldn't, you could expect to see additional issues on this list in 2024. Like Avengers Twilight, this book does not take place in the main continuity, but it still occupies the top spot on our sales list for January. Will this new take on the Ultimate Universe match the first one? We will have to wait and see. The talent on this book and the sales for this issue are a clear sign it may do just that. So, guys, all right. Dope cover right off the bat. I like the take. I like Stegman's take here. I like the family portrait. You know, it's usually when it comes to Spidey, you know, and Peter Parker, Mary Jane, and their family, that's going to drive sales for any comic collector, right? Like if you put any other character, like, and you put this scenario, I'm not interested at all. This I'm interested in at least. But they talked about the non-continuity. This is the Ultimate Universe. We've seen what the Ultimate Universe has given us in the past as far as stories, characters, and longevity for those stories and characters. So I think it's different from when we were looking at Jason Stark earlier versus when you're talking about Spidey in the Ultimate Universe. Plus, look at what just happened with Spider-Boy recently. It seems like the Spider-Man is just a different, I don't think it's a stretch to say, it's just a different animal when it comes to, non-continuity and different takes and different variations. People buy into that stuff. I wouldn't chase this one down because, like they said, this probably isn't going to sell over cover price because there's so many issues, because there's such a huge print run. But this has got to be a cover. There just got to be a grab at cover price, right, Jay? I mean, even just 100%. For the story alone.
I mean, yeah, you pretty much hit everything on the head. The only thing I'm going to add in here is Little May and Little Richard there. That's Cassidy red to me, man. I mean, Peter might want to call Maury on this one. I know MJ has red hair, but that's Cassidy red to me. You know what I mean? Someone called, what's Barry Gary been doing lately?
Yeah. Scaring girls. All right, guys, that wraps up the video for today. Shout out again to Comic Nation. Awesome list this month. First of many for 2024. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you are a subscriber, hit that notification bell so you know when we're putting out content. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 5 p.m. Eastern. And guys, stay tuned this week. I think we're going to be doing a live show. We're going to start doing the live shows again. We may be reworking the schedule coming up soon, so stay tuned for some announcements. And we have a huge announcement coming up. It's probably going to either be later on this week or next week, the latest. You guys definitely want to be around for that. So, until the next video, Defects. Later.